Okay, so we are asked to solve graph and state in interval notation. So since we have to solve, we're going to follow our rules here. We can't simplify this problem. There's nothing to simplify. So now we're going to highlight the variable term. And because it's all by itself, we're ready for the last step, which is to divide by the coefficient. So we're going to divide both sides by a -5. As we proved and we learned in class, when we divide right here both sides by a negative, we need to flip the direction of this symbol right here. Okay, now we have a positive divided by a negative, which is a negative, and we have -7/5. Or we could also write it as a decimal, and we would have -1.4. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and graph it. -7/5 is a number in between -2 and -1, so it's a little bit less than halfway, so about right here. So we have -1.4, and because it has this line underneath, this tells us right here that we're going to have a bracket, so we can use a bracket or a solid circle right here. Okay, then we're going to read this. This says x can be any number, and this looks like an L for less. X can be any number less than or equal to -1.4. So less starts with an L, so does left. So I know I need to shade the less numbers that are on the left side. So we're going to put a bracket here and shade this side of the graph. Or instead of that bracket, again, we could put a solid circle there instead. Okay, so now our interval notation, we always read the graph from the left to the right. So if we look at the graph on the left, this is showing that our solutions are numbers that can be x, or anything to the left of -1.4 on the number line. That means we have the negatives. The negative numbers keep going and going and going over here on this side. So our interval notation, we're going to have a parenthesis and then -infinity. We always put a parenthesis around our infinity symbol. Then we put a comma, and then x cannot go to the right of -1.4. So we put 1.4 and we put a bracket because there's a bracket there, and x can be -1.4. Okay, so let's make sure we understand what this means. We shaded this side of the graph because any number on this side, any number less than -1.4 can go in for x here. So, for example, -2 is right in the shaded region. -10 is over here in the shaded side. So if we pick either of those numbers and we plug it in for x, so if I plug in -10 for x or -2, any number to the left of -1.4 on the number line. So again, pick any number over here in the shaded region, plug it in here for x, so I took out the x and plugged in a number in the shaded region, and then I'm going to multiply because that's what -5x means, and we would get 50, which we read this, and this is true. So that is how we also know we shaded the right side of the graph, because 50 is bigger than 7.